consultations will be auspicious for our economy. Recently, we have seen more frequently, I have made references to the adventures in economy of our history more frequently recently since the İzmir Economy Congress. In economy, we have always tried to draw ourselves a direction that would lead us to our targets. We have initiated different leaps with the instruments and means of the time, and unfortunately, sometimes because of global reasons and sometimes reasons emerging from our internal dynamics, they did not reach outcomes. As I always say, the shelf life of the resolutions of 1923 ended with the Great Depression of 29. Late prime ministers Özal and Menderes also initiated some attempts which also ended. During the time of our governments, Turkey for the first time had an unbroken time period of 20 years of development. In order for us to do the main economic development leap, we were able to complete the required infrastructure to a great extent. I would like to emphasize one point specifically. If you remember, in the May of 2013, the interest rate was dropped down to 4.5%. Inflation at the time was again at 6.5%. It had dropped to this level. And then in Taksim, the Gezi incidents erupted, as you know, because there were certain forces which did not want to accept our development maneuvers, and they took such steps, and they caused us to hit a wall. There is also another topic. When we came to office, our debt to IMF was standing at $23.5 billion, and we have paid off the debt to IMF by May 2013 by paying the final installment, and we finished the chapter with IMF. Currently, we do not have any debt to IMF, and we don't have any contacts with them, but the main opposition party is meeting, as you know, and meeting with IMF, have met with IMF and have done certain work with them in hotel lobbies. The speaker of the main opposition party, he is probably a former treasury worker. He was also present personally in those activities. These are the same people who recommend IMF to us from time to time. They recommend IMF to us, but after we broke off our ties with IMF, the main opposition and other oppositions together have met in the back rooms of hotels. They have met with IMF and they have run some studies themselves. But as we took such steps, what was interesting is that during my time as the Prime Minister in April 2013, our central bank's foreign currency reserves stood at $135 billion. There was a decrease that came afterwards. The lowest level that it has reached was September 2020. It was $83 billion. This was the lowest level reached. But then it started recovering once again. We started a recovery period, and after that recovery, we have currently reached a better level, which I believe by today is around $115 billion, about $115 billion, and the progress, with the progress that we're making currently, the level will be much better in the future. But of course, from education to health, from law to security, from transport to energy, from tourism to industry, in every area, Turkey now boosts the infrastructure that it needs. As you can find in the information note that we have distributed to you, all data point out to this infrastructure being ready. Our target is to elevate our country on this infrastructure to make it one of the top 10 economies in the world. Countries which hold the strings of the global economy are going through a difficult period since the 2008 financial crisis. Developing countries, which include Turkey, are making a pressure to go to the higher league, and with this, this confusion increases. Developed countries, on the one hand, are struggling among themselves, and on the other hand, they also try to prevent developing countries from taking a bigger share from the global pie. The coronavirus pandemic has made this picture appear even more clearly. The money supply has increased with the pandemic, and it was initiated for the financial crisis, and it has made things more obvious. In terms of Turkey's aspirations to go to the developed countries league, this is a proof that a very suitable environment now exists. Between Far East in Europe, the most important production, logistics and human capital center is Turkey, and this is seen not only by us but also by everyone else. And with this purpose in our economy policies, we have initiated a historic change which did not start recently. It has been ongoing for quite a while. The classic economy understanding tries to control inflation with high interest rates, and we have put aside that approach, but we have rather used investment, employment, manufacturing, exports, and current surplus in order to grow the country in our economy policies. Such a major change, of course, does not happen easily. First and foremost, this choice introduces many risks and question marks with it. In the past 9 years, we have been subjected to political, social, and military threats, and the economic dimension always existed in all of them, and after 2018 it became the top topic. They understand that they will be unable to beat Turkey with other methods, so they focused all of their efforts and their attention to the area of economy. Unfortunately, among us there are many politicians, academics, and media members who are ready to serve this policy as well. But we have such big and historic opportunities that we believe that it is worth taking all of these risks. In the exchange rate, we have had abnormal fluctuations for some time, and it has been one of these risks. For a long time, this fluctuation we were pressurized to stop this fluctuation by increasing the interest rates. This is no secret. Even among our own friends and colleagues, there have been those who believed in the same idea. But we, despite all of these proposals and despite some of the threats that emerged later on, we have insisted on applying our own program. We have prepared a package of measures, and after we announced it, the bubble in the exchange rate uh, has disappeared in a single day. Of course, one of the reasons for this outcome was the faith in the success of our economic policy and our dedication in maintaining this economy policy. And hopefully, in the future, we will continue on our journey with the same level of dedication. There have been storms that they attempted to create or dark clouds above us, but despite all of them, in the employment and manufacturing side of our economy, things are perfect. On the budget side, we don't have any challenges either. The top area of concern is the balance in finance, and once we establish that balance in a short while, starting with the upcoming summer months, we will witness altogether that our country's economy will enter a brand new climate. There are opportunists which have demonstrated themselves like they always did in the past. There have, by using the excuse of commodity price increases, there have been those who increase their own prices in with no connection to the reality. And I call out to our nation who are watching us in front of their screens, and I also call out to all business owners and shop owners and industrialists. Uh, there are those who change their prices and their price tags a few times a day, and we are going to be monitoring them closely on behalf of our nation. And I would like to remind that we will be doing this work with our ministers because nobody has the right to abuse this nation, to exploit the nation. During the increase in the dollar price, they have changed the prices, they have increased their prices, and now we expect them to change their price tags once again and to lower the prices. Of course, some companies have already started bringing down their prices, but of course, it should match the speed that was seen in the increase as well. This also includes second-hand vehicles and houses. If the price decreases do not happen, our ministers of treasury and commerce will use all of their means to uh, deal with the stock pilers and those who apply very high prices. We will not allow any development or any person that disrupts the peace of our nation, and this is what is required from this position. This is the reason why we were elected to such offices by our nation. We were elected to protect the rights of our people, and that is what we have to do. We have saved our country from high inflation and boosted exchange rate, and we will do the same for high price hikes. In today's meeting with you, we will talk about the past, present, and the future of our economy. We want to discuss these topics in detail. We will give the floor to different speakers and we will try to answer all of your questions openly. My only request from you is to discuss your proposals for a solution rather than discussing the current situation. And if you express these solution offers openly to us, this can also play a guiding role for us. When it comes to your comments on the Turkish economy, especially as you know, there is a lot of untrue information that is floating around, and we should rather discuss what we are discussing here. If we do so, that would be guiding for us, and with your guiding advice, we can continue the attempts that we have initiated, especially the Turkish lira savings based on exchange rate. We will make more progress in this area and we will not allow our public to be victimized. Now I leave the floor to you and thank you.